time is 6:15. Here is the news edited by Dulmin Singha, read by Victor Raj. Here are the headlines of the local news. The report on the Ministerial Subcommittee to consider Easter Sunday attack recommendations will be handed over to the President on Monday. Sinopharm vaccines arrive in Sri Lanka from China. A pharmaceutical manufacturing facility to produce drugs to treat cancer patients will be established in Sri Lanka. A special security plan implemented covering churches and tourist hotels during this week. Foreign news, a Chinese scientist says Beijing did share all COVID-19 data with WHO. Sports news, cricket. The second test between Sri Lanka and West Indies will begin shortly at North Sound. Local news in detail. The report on the Ministerial Subcommittee to consider Easter Sunday attack recommendations will be handed over to the President Rajapaksa on Monday. This was disclosed by the Secretary to the Committee, Harigupta Rohanadira. He said that the Ministerial Subcommittee report has been completed. Mr. Rohanadira said that although the report was scheduled to be handed over to the President today, the President gave Monday as the date to accept the report. 600,000 doses of the Sinopharm vaccine arrived in Sri Lanka from China this morning. The vaccines were handed over to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa by the Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka, Ki Zhenhong. The vaccines were donated on a request made by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to Chinese President Xi Jinping. During a ceremony held at the Bandar Naik International Airport to accept the vaccines, State Minister Professor Channajaya Sumana thanked Chinese President Xi Jinping and the Chinese government for the donation. The vaccine to be first administered to Chinese nationals based in Sri Lanka. The National Medicinal Drugs Authority said that Sri Lankans will be given the jabs following a study by an expert committee. Minister Dhanasala Perumal says that a pharmaceutical manufacturing facility to produce drugs to treat cancer patients will be established in Sri Lanka. 64 new cancer patients are found daily in the country, and 38 deaths are reported daily due to cancer. The minister pointed out the government has to spend a large amount of money on drugs produced in foreign countries. If the drugs can be produced in the country, it can save a large amount of foreign exchange. Accordingly, a memorandum of understanding to set up a radioactive pharmaceutical facility in Sri Lanka was signed in January. 1,135 million rupees has been estimated for the project. Minister Dhanasala Perumal said cabinet paper in this regard will be submitted soon. Postmaster General Ranjit Aryaratna says that trade union action taken by 34 trade unions of the department is not justifiable. He told SLBC that it is unfair to take trade union action when the minister has agreed to five of six the demands of the trade union. The minister has said that the remaining demand can be solved through discussions. He said the 90% staff the main office has reported to work. He said that postmasters have the ability to block information technology network at some post offices. The Postmaster General further said that legal action will be taken against such officials. He expressed belief that postal operations could be conducted as usual from today after tomorrow. Although post offices island-wide were closed today, all sub-post offices has been opened. Strike will end at 12 midnight today. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with more local news. Naval operations carried out in Eastern, Northern, Northwestern and North Central naval commands in the past 2 weeks led to the seizure of 10,219 sea cucumbers illegally harvested through night diving and apprehension of a group of individuals and diving gear. Sri Lanka Navy has increased its day and night patrol covering the seas around the island in an attempt to prevent adverse effects on the marine environment due to illegal fishing practices. Police spokesperson DIG Ajit Rohana says a 4-day island-wide program has been launched today to minimize motorcycle accidents taking place in the country. The operation, which is set to go on until the 3rd of next month, will be carried out under the directives of the police headquarters. The police spokesperson said that motorcyclists will be subjected to a special inspection during an operation. Minister Douglas Devananda said that a deep-sea fishing port will be constructed in Telangana with the aim of improving the livelihood of the fishermen of Mannar district. The minister said that it was planned to provide specialized training to fishermen in the deep-sea fishing industry and to provide multi-day fishing boats with modern vessels on a subsidized basis. The minister said this while inaugurating a seafood center set up in the Olay Thotuvi area in Mannar district yesterday. The Northern Provincial Director of the Health Services, Dr. A.K. Deeswaran, said another 13 people have been diagnosed with COVID-19 from the Jaffna market. Accordingly, the number of COVID-19 infections in Jaffna market has increased to 117. Samples for PCR tests have been obtained from 1,440 persons belonging to Jaffna Municipal Area Trade Centres. Of these, 35 have been confirmed to have infected. According to the Director of Northern Province Health Services, 695 cases have been reported in Jaffna since the beginning of this year till yesterday. That ends local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Ministry of Health says 161 more COVID patients were recovered from coronavirus were discharged from medical care. This brings the total number of COVID-19 recoveries in the country thus far to 89,251. Another 2,625 infected patients are receiving treatment at hospitals and treatment centers across the country. That ends main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Moving on to Watchlight, Cabinet approval has been granted for Department of Motor Traffic to obtain service facilities from state-owned Sri Lanka Telecom to implement a pre-booking system with SME alerts for the public at the head office and all other district offices in order to reduce congestion. Transport Minister Gamini Lokige has received Cabinet approval for the project. That came to you on Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
World News headlines first. A Chinese scientist says Beijing did share all COVID-19 data with WHO. Investigation begins into how ship got stuck on Suez Canal. Volvo goes global with its Swedish family values. World News in detail. A senior Chinese health official said today there was no factual basis to accusations that China did not share data with the researchers appointed by the World Health Organization to look into the origins of COVID-19. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said China had withheld data from international investigators during their visit to Wuhan. But Liang Wanyan, who was co-leader of the joint study, told reporters that Chinese and international researchers had access to the same data throughout the investigation and that the claims about lack of access were not accurate. Formal investigations into how the giant container ship Ever Given ran around in the Suez Canal, shutting down shipping in the major global waterway for almost a week, will begin today. Suez Canal Authority Chairman Osama Rabi has suggested weather conditions, including high winds and human error, could have played a role in the grounding on 23rd March. The investigation will include examining the seaworthiness of the ship and the captain's actions. Swedish car maker Volvo will offer a generous paid parent leave scheme to its 40,000 employees globally. Parental leave benefit is often generous at Swedish companies, and now Volvo's scheme will apply to all of its employees, including China and the US. Under the plan, staff will be entitled to 24 weeks of paid parental leave while receiving 80% of their base pay during the leave period. Headquarters in Sweden, Volvo is owned by China's biggest car maker, Geely. To wrap up the world news, let's take a look at the headlines once again. A Chinese scientist says Beijing did share all COVID-19 data with WHO. Investigation begins into how ship got stuck on Suez Canal. Volvo goes global with the Swedish family values. That ends world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by
CIB New Year offer. Valuable gift vouchers for every bill payment during 1st to 10th April. 20% discount for bank card holders. Our place, our product. CIB.
The Cabinet of Ministers has granted approval for Sri Lanka Land Development Corporation to implement identified food minimizing projects worth of 2.8 billion rupees in risk-prone Colombo and its suburbs, as well as in other areas in the country during the year. This is pertaining to the flood minimizing project. The main purpose of this project was to ensure environmental sustainable urbanization in the country. That ends Development News. Development News was brought to you by
CIB New Year offer. Valuable gift vouchers for every bill payment during 1st to 10th April. 20% discount for bank card holders. Our place, our product. CIB.
Moving on to sports news. Cricket. Today is the third day of the second test of Sri Lanka tour of West Indies at North Sound. West Indies scored 354 in their first innings. Sri Lanka was 136 for 3 wickets at stumps yesterday. The match will resume shortly for the third day today. Olympics news. Athletes competing in the U.S. Olympic trials can protest, the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee said yesterday, including kneeling or raising a clenched fist on the podium or at the start line during the national anthem. In a detailed document, the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee outlined a wide range of ways athletes can advocate for racial and social justice, but drew the line at what will be unacceptable, including wearing a hat or face mask with a hate symbol or hate speech on it. Tennis news. After players at the Miami Open expressed reluctance to get the COVID-19 vaccine, the women's tennis governing body, the WTA, said on Tuesday it would educate athletes and encourage them to get the shot. Ukrainian Elena Savitolina and Belarusian Ariana Zablanka had arrived concerns about how quickly the vaccines had been rolled out and said they would wait before deciding whether to get one. That ends sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Seat Kalani Holdings has announced another significant increase in the production that will more than double the number of truck bus radial tires reaching the domestic market by June this year. The company said production of the Seat Windmill AW in the 10R20 size widely used on trucks, prime movers and buses will in 2 phases of expansion, increasing from 18,000 tires a year to 40,200 a year. This gives Seat the ability to supply 42% of the local requirement for those tires. That came to you on Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
The economy has returned to a growth trajectory in the fourth quarter of the 2020. Figures compiled by the Department of Census and Statistics show that the economy recovered a 1.3% growth rate in comparison with the 1.9% growth rate in fourth quarter 2019. Industrial and agricultural service have grown while a service sector of the economy has fallen. The construction industry, which normally accounts for 6.8% of industrial activity, recorded a substantial contraction of 13.2%. That came to you on Economic News.
Congratulations on your promotion. When will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Met Department says a few showers can be expected in the coastal area of the Western Province and Gol and Matra districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur at a few places in Ubud Province and in Ratnapur and Nuvareli districts during the evening or night. Fairly strong gusty winds up to 40 km per hour can be expected in northern and north central provinces and in Putlam district. That ends the weather report.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
To wrap up the evening news broadcast, let's take a look at the headlines once again. The report on the Ministerial Subcommittee to consider Easter Sunday tax recommendations will be handed over to the President on Monday. Sinopharm vaccines arrive in Sri Lanka from China. A pharmaceutical manufacturing facility to produce drugs to treat cancer patients will be established in Sri Lanka. A special security plan implemented covering churches and tourist hotels during the Easter week. Foreign news. A Chinese scientist says Beijing did share all COVID-19 data with the WHO. Sports news. Cricket. The second test between Sri Lanka and West Indies will begin shortly at North Sound. With that, we bring to an end the evening news broadcast on Radio Sri Lanka.